Meeting. Today is Thursday, December the 19th. The Norwood City School District Board of Education follows a bi-monthly meeting schedule. The first meeting of the month is called our committee meeting. At this meeting, we discuss fully our agenda for the board meeting to be held the third Thursday of each month. As board members, we encourage you to attend, watch, and listen to our committee discussion resulting in action at the board meetings. For full disclosure, our committee meetings and board meetings are always announced, video and audio taped, as well as posted to our webpage for your view. All of our meetings are public and visitors are welcome. Mrs. Camphouse, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Atwood?
Present.
Ms. Ballard? Present. Mrs. Rarica?
Present.
Mr. Taylor?
Present.
Mrs. Cole?
Present. I would like to ask you to stand for the pledge.
Which way do you want to stand?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 1.04 is the adoption of the agenda. Do I have a motion to adopt?
All motion?
I'll second.
Any discussion? I would like to propose we modify the agenda. I would like to invite Mrs. Marshall to bring her orchestra students down to perform for us right before we do the Rising Star presentation.
I'll second that. Amendment to the adoption.
Are we good? Anything further? All right, Mrs. Camphouse?
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
Ms. Ballard? Yes. Mrs. Rarica?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mrs. Cole?
Yes. All right, Mrs. Marshall, I'm going to ask for just a few seconds and then we'll get right to you. I just have a few housekeeping things and then no, you are perfectly fine. You
just have
guys
to
go
approve the minutes.
right ahead and get set up. All right, item 1.05, these are our minutes from the regular meeting, November 21st. 1.06, these are our minutes from our finance committee held December 10th. 1.07, these are our minutes from committee on December 10th. And 1.08, these are our minutes from the special meeting December 10th. Do I have a motion to approve 1.05 through 1.08?
All motion?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Camphouse?
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
Ms. Ballard? Yes. Mrs. Rarica?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mrs. Cole?
Yes. All right. With that approved, we can go ahead and move on. This was not on the agenda for those of you in the audience. This was not on the agenda. You probably heard our orchestra playing up at the top before the meeting, and they do just a lovely job and work so hard. And I want to make sure that they get the recognition they deserve. So I asked Mrs. Marshall if we could bring them down to perform for us for just a few moments. So Mrs. Marshall, I'll turn it over to you. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, guys.
Several of the board members and some of our administration came over a couple weeks ago and watched you guys in your concert over in the middle school. So
Can we give her a moment?
Always
to tell
enjoy
us
it.
about the students that she just had
Sure,
for her program?
Do
sure.
you want to tell us something?
Would you like to tell us anything about your program and what the students are working on for the new year so that we can get excited for that program?
Or your new trip?
You've got some stuff coming up. I know.
Yes, so we just finished up the chamber music unit where some of them chose to play Christmas carols in small groups, which is what you just saw today. Some others played different classical pieces. We've had 6 performances in the last 2 weeks, so we've been pretty busy. Yes, this is our last one. And then for the new year, we are just starting a whole bunch of new skills, and then getting ready. We'll have our spring performance, and then next year we hope to tour Chicago and visit a lot of really awesome places. You guys heard that last meeting. We have a student in the Cincinnati Symphony Youth Orchestra, which is the top youth orchestra in the tri-state, and we have 3 in Northern Kentucky Youth Orchestra. So we're always looking for that, and we're very proud of them. And our middle schoolers are playing an honors orchestra the second weekend of January. So that is with all of District 13, the whole greater Cincinnati area. There were certain students selected from each school.
Where is that performance going to be?
The performance will be at Winwoods.
At Winwood. Okay.
All
Awesome.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Marshall. She does such a great job with it, and I want to make sure she's recognized for that.
Did you see those beautiful new instruments?
Yeah.
Love that.
Gorgeous.
And for any parents here that are interested, our silhouettes are performing at 7 o'clock over in the middle school. So feel free to shoot over there if you have time tonight and see some singing and dancing.
And as a side note, this is Adam Robinson's 10th year with the program. So he was noting his very proud achievement of 10 years with the Silhouettes and what they've achieved. So definitely go check them out.
All right, so continuing on, we are now at item 2 on the agenda tonight, which is the presentation of our Rising Stars. So I will be inviting Mrs. Chesson and Mrs. Havlin up to recognize those students.
Thank you, President Cole. And this evening, when I call your name, if you would come forward, and we're going to say some wonderful things about you, you're going to receive a certificate, and we're going to take some photos. So let's get started with Sharpsburg Elementary Rising Star, Ava Nolan. Ava is a kind and generous student who is willing to advocate for herself and others. She's not afraid to ask for assistance when she needs it. We are constantly and consistently pleased with her effort she puts forth. She is eager to learn every day. Ava is creative. She writes multiple narratives and makes amazing drawings whenever she finishes her work. We are proud to name her third grader student, Ava Nolan, as Sharpsburg December Rising Star. Congratulations to you, Ava.
All right. Sorry, it's right here. All right, Norwood View Elementary Rising Star, Blakely Murphy. I don't know if Blakely's here, but we're gonna still read about her. So the 5th grade team of Norwood View Elementary would like to nominate Blakely as our Rising Star for the month of December. Blakely is a ray of sunshine. She has an infectious smile and a positive attitude. She gives her best effort in everything that she does and is always willing to try new and challenging things. Blakely is a good friend to those around her. She is independent and will lend a hand to anyone who needs help. She is not afraid to be herself, and her positive, upbeat nature makes her a natural leader to those around her. No matter what she is doing, she exhibits a quiet determination to be her personal best without giving up. She is trustworthy, clever, and confident. She is working to make a positive difference for others and herself here at Norwood View. Her positive attitude is contagious and a breath of fresh air in our learning environment. Congratulations to Blakely.
Williams Avenue Elementary Rising Star, Fletcher Apsaloff. Fletcher has exceptional qualities and is a role model in his fourth grade class. Fletch consistently demonstrates kindness and a willingness to help his peers, making him a trusted and admired friend among his classmates. He's self-motivated, and his self-motivated attitude shines through everything he does, whether tackling challenging assignments, lending a hand to a classmate in need, or contributing to group projects with enthusiasm and creativity. Fletch's positive energy and proactive approach inspire those around him, making him a true standout in his school community. Congratulations, Fletch, on this well-deserved recognition.
Okay, the Norwood Montessori School Rising Star is Alora Yee. Don't know if Alora's here, but we're going to keep reading all the good things about her. So Alora is dependable, honest, and a trustworthy Montessorian. She works hard, takes her learning seriously, and can often be found deep in concentration with her work. Taking care of all living things is also so important to her. When another student or teacher is in need, Alora is quick to volunteer to help. She shares her beautiful smile and personality with all who come into contact with her. She is a kind-hearted, loving Montessorian, and we are so excited to watch her continue to blossom into an amazing Montessorian. For this and so many other reasons, we are so excited. We are excited for all of Norwood to know that Alora is a rising star in our community. Congratulations.
Norwood Middle School Rising Star Zoe Grammer. Okay, we're going to share some nice things about Zoe as well. Zoe is an incredible student who works hard every day. Her dedication to excellence demonstrates a strong sense of responsibility and a genuine desire to learn and grow. By staying on top of her assignments, she shows exceptional organizational skills and self-discipline, setting an example for her peers. Zoe's politeness and respectful attitude create a positive environment, making her a joy to work with and learn from. This blend of diligence, respect, and integrity makes Zoe an inspiration and a rising star in any classroom. Congratulations to you, Zoe.
All right, Norwood High School Rising Star student Ollie Leon. The entire concept of a rising star is best defined by a star which has begun to show its true brightness, but has yet to reach its pinnacle. Ollie is a perfect example of this. While we know his kindness, intelligence, and exceptional problem-solving skills have always been a part of his nature, Norwood High School is truly watching a rising star on a path to greatness. From his teachers, beyond academics, Ollie has a remarkable ability to connect with others. His great sense of humor is a cornerstone of his personality, brightening the days of his peers and teachers alike. Whether he's lightening the mood during a stressful group project or offering a supportive word to a friend, his wit and kindness make him a joy to be around. He is always striving to improve. Ollie is an enthusiastic learner who puts attention and effort into everything he does. He is passionate about his interests and in making connections with others. Ollie understands how to problem solve and can simplify a complex problem with a clear solution. Ollie is aware of real-world events and can communicate his understanding of these events to classroom lessons. He is very courteous and respects other students' desire to learn. Academically, Ollie challenges himself with a rigorous course load that demonstrates his intellectual curiosity and commitment to growth. He excels in advanced and challenging classes, consistently achieving strong results through hard work and determination. His ability to tackle difficult material while maintaining a positive attitude inspires those around him and is a welcome attitude for his teachers. Congratulations to Ollie.
Norwood Athletic Rising Star Marvin Paulino. Marvin is a member of the Norwood varsity football team and now varsity bowling. During his time at Norwood, he battled some injuries but vowed to make his senior year special, and it was just that. From the start of winter conditioning, Marvin began transitioning to a captain's role. Through the ups and downs of the season, he was able to lead his teammates to leadership, and it certainly did not go unnoticed. Excuse me. It's been a pleasure to watch him grow. His postseason was filled with many accolades: first team, All-American, Valley Conference, second team, All-Southwest District, first team, All-City Division, and Miami Valley Conference Dick Schneider Award for Character, Integrity, and Sportsmanship. Marvin's gifts are being noticed by others, like college football coaches. We hope he continues at the next level. The sky's the limit for this young man. Here's to another accolade. May your star continue to rise, number 75. Congratulations, Marvin.
All right. District Creative Arts Rising Star, Mila Wade.
I was at a swim.
Yes, yes. So she is very involved. So we're going to celebrate about all the great things. So Mila Wade is a dynamic high school student who thrives on balancing a wide array of passions. As a dedicated musician, Mila plays the viola in our high school orchestra, and she was recently accepted into the Northern Kentucky University Youth Orchestra. Often practicing late into the evening to perfect each note. Beyond music, Mila's energy extends to the athletic department, showcasing versatility and teamwork in several sports. Despite a packed schedule, Mila consistently maintains high grades, always striving for excellence. Mila eagerly embraces every challenge, whether it's mastering a new piece of music, competing in a championship game, or tackling a tough exam. Mila is a role model for peers, embodying the spirit of Norwood pride. Congratulations to Mila.
At this time, Rising Stars, just stay where you are. The board members would like to come around and say congratulations to you, and then we're going to get a nice group photo.
Would you like to take Mila's award with you, since you'll probably see her before anyone else?
There you go. Okay, are you ready? 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Very good.
Nice.
Great.
At this time, we invite all the Rising Stars and all of their family and friends that came this evening to follow Ms. Havlin in the red and black sweater out to the lobby for some group photos. Thank you all for being here this evening, and happy holidays.
Which one? Right?
On with the agenda, item 3, this is personnel. 3.6 Item 3, personnel. I will turn it over to Superintendent Mrs. Ronan.
Thank you, Madam President. Under number 3.01, resignation, thank you to Michelle, who is leaving us. She's one of our student assistants, and she'll be leaving us in January for other employment. 3.02, employment. We would like to welcome 3 new student assistants. We have Lachey, Brina, and also there is a Dominique who is on your electronic version on your screen but may not be on your paper version. Dominique is going to be at Bobby B. for us. Item number 2 are supplemental contracts for several of our staff members. Item number 3 is a correction to the November agenda. We had listed the wrong Sarah. And there is also an additional correction underneath that. On the next page, it's the list of all of our teachers who volunteer to be the scenery coordinator or the musical coordinator. So this time of year, they're very busy, and I have pictures in my report later of all the great performances we've had where these individuals assisted us. Number 4 is a change in status for Mr. Peter. Number 5, these are our pupil activity contracts. We are still hiring some winter coaches and also moving forward with spring coaches. And in addition, Avenues for Success is adding an additional staff person. So I'm going to stop right at this point for a vote.
All right, do I have a motion to approve 3.1 and 3.02, sub-items 1 through 5?
All motion?
I'll second. Any discussion? All right, Mrs. Camp House?
Mr. Atwood,
Yes.
Miss Ballard,
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes.
Thank you. Then we also have 2 additional items. We are hiring a basketball assistant coach and a baseball head coach. So could we have a vote on that too, please?
Do I have a motion for those 2 items?
All motion?
I'll second. Any discussion? I will be abstaining from this vote. Mrs. Camp House?
Mr. Atwood,
Yes.
Miss Ballard,
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Abstain.
Well, thank you, and that concludes my recommendations.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Ronan. Continuing on with item 4 on the agenda, this is the Education Committee report. So at this time, I will turn it over to our board member, Mrs. Rarica.
Why, thank you. Our field trips are Sharpsburg 3rd graders going to the Art Museum, 4th and 5th graders at Sharpsburg going to Green Acres, the Norwood High School, this one looks really exciting, Cincinnati Reds College Prep Day for 10th and 11th graders, and Norwood View going to CVG Airport.
Oh, interesting.
Wonder if they'll get in a plane. I don't know.
I
I move.
on the luggage carousel.
I hope not. I move to approve these field trips.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All right, Mrs. Camp House?
Mr. Atwood,
Yes.
Miss Ballard,
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
and Mrs. Cole.
Yes. All right, with that approved, moving on to item 5. This is the Policy Committee, and I will turn it over to Vice President Taylor.
Thank you, Madam President. We are going to have the first reading of a few policies. Okay, so EBBA, first aid, it's been updated to address new requirements to provide an AED in each building. JHG, reporting child abuse and mandatory training, updated to reflect inclusion of AED training in service training, requirements of RC 3319.073B, JK, employment of students, added new legal reference RC 3345.205, IKF, updated to reflect new permissions, allowing students to fulfill 1/2 unit of financial literacy by completing AP Microeconomics or AP Macroeconomics. IGD, co-curricular and extracurricular activities, updated to reflect new provision authorizing district superintendent or chief administrative officer of a school to permit a home-educated student, a student enrolled in a non-public community STEM or STEAM school or a student enrolled in a different district to participate in interscholastic athletics. And IGDJ, interscholastic athletics, and JECBC, admission of students from non-chartered or home education have both been updated to reflect new provision authorizing district superintendent or chief administrative officer of a school to permit a home-educated student, a student enrolled in a non-public community, STEM, or STEAM school, or a student enrolled in a different school district to participate in interscholastic athletics. IGAE, health education, been updated to reflect change from terminology of health topics and adding in the requirements for instruction topics in certain grades and allowing for opt-in for health-related programming. IGAI, family sex education has been updated to for a change in terminology. ECA, building and ground security, has been updating building and ground security. So I'd like to make a motion to approve those policies and revisions. The first reading of those policies and revisions.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
I actually have something to say. So, I had to look at a lot of the health education from this state earlier this year, and we call it family life education, which is a lovely name. But at state level, they call it venereal disease education, which is really outdated. And I'm really glad they are finally, in 2024, getting rid of that and changing that to medically accurate terminology. I think that's the least we can expect out of our state legislators, that they be medically accurate. They have a long way to go in the policies for health education. If anybody would like to hear about them, I will talk about them all day with you. They get me really riled up. So this is just one little point, and finally they're fixing this very tiny thing. So yay you, state legislators.
And for the TLDR, that was the change of the letters were venereal disease to sexually transmitted infection. And so that's the only change that's being made in the policy.
Right, and it comes from state level, not us, so.
Any further discussion? Okay, and again, this is the first reading, so these will be adopted next month after the second reading. All right, Mrs. Camphouse?
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
Ms. Ballard?
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mrs. Cole?
Yes. All right, with that first reading approved, we can go ahead and move on to item 6. This is building and grounds, and I will turn it over to Ms. Ballard.
Thank you, Madam President. We only have one approval request for the Norwood Barracuda swim team to use the Shea Stadium and field from July 11th to July 16th. They put a little information here. Every few years, Norwood hosts a big swim meet at the Worth Pool on Harris Avenue, and there'll be a lot of teams participating, and they'll be using the Shea Field for a staging area, and each team will have a tented area that is sandbagged and not staked on our new field, but the tents will be set up on Friday, and they'll be up through the weekend. The meet is going to be July 14th through 14th and 15th, and then they'll do tear down on the 16th. So the dates have been cleared with our athletic department, and our maintenance does not have to be involved for any upkeep or care for that. And I'd like to make a motion that we approve this request. It's really awesome that we have the opportunity to host such a cool event.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Mrs. Camphouse?
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
Ms. Ballard?
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mrs. Cole?
Yes.
And that
All right.
concludes my report.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Ballard. Item 7, this is Finance Committee, and I will turn it over to Treasurer Mrs. Camphouse.
Thank you, Madam President. The CFO report, monthly financials, and change order listings are attached for your review and approval on the agenda. 7.02, appropriation resolution, our current budget for the year. 7.03, advanced taxes from the county auditor. To give myself the authority to request advanced taxes as they come into the county auditor. This allows me to invest the funds quicker and with more interest revenue. 7.04, approve additional scope for Williams beautification. During the Williams Avenue beautification project, we will have to replace the asphalt at the Board of Education parking lot. And now is the best time to alleviate the long-standing issue of flooding in that area before we go to bid. The stormwater pump station scope will be added with a cost not to exceed $200,000. 7.05, Johnson Controls Performance Design Agreement. Johnson Controls will be doing the work to plan the upgrades at North Norwood. 7.06, a new grant, $5,000 Coding with Legos. We received this grant from Bill and Dottie Wilder Foundation, thanks to Andrea Alsep's work. We will use the funds for STEM instruction at the middle school. Students will use coding and programming along with the Lego supplies to create various robotic projects. That is all for finance.
Thank you, Mrs. Camp House. Do I have a motion to approve 7.01 through 7.06?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All right, Mrs. Camp House?
Mr. Alwood?
Yes.
Ms. Ballard?
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mrs. Cole?
Yes. All right, item 8 on our agenda is the hearing of the public, and I did not receive any notifications prior to the meeting, so we can move on to item 9, which is the report section. 9.01, board announcements. So at this time, if any board member has anything they would like to share?
I had a really fun time at Williams Avenue last Friday wrapping presents for their market. I love that market because as the kids are coming through, I think of all the math they're doing with their money, all the planning and organizing they're doing they think about who they want to get something for and how much money they want to spend, and they've got to count out change, and then they've got to bring it to me and organize it all out. And it's such a great lesson for the kids. It's got so many different areas to learn from, and I have so much fun doing it. And they are just the cutest things ever. And then the other thing is, I am so glad the Silhouettes and the orchestra came to play this past Tuesday night for the Women's Club 90th anniversary. We really, really appreciated it.
Anything else? All right, 9.02 is our superintendent's report, so I will turn it over to Mrs. Ronan.
Thank you very much. We have lots of lovely holiday events we would like to share. The first one was the Norwood Alumni Luncheon. There we can see President Sharon Hoffman presiding over the event, and Santa is in the upper right-hand corner. We all got our pictures taken with him, so that was quite lovely. Next is the orchestra who played for us tonight. They also performed at Factory 52. And as Alice just mentioned, the orchestra did perform at the Norwood Business and Professional Women's Club, in addition to the Silhouettes in the center and also the Middle School Sensation. So that was truly a lovely event. And there is our own board member, Alice Rarica, president of the Norwood Business and Professional Women's Club. And she received a proclamation from the mayor celebrating the 90th year anniversary of the club. So congratulations, Alice, and congratulations to the Women's Club.
It looks like I'm sneezing. That's okay, though. I'm used to goofy.
Then this is just some holiday fun we're sharing where the children dressed up and got into the holiday spirit. So this is what Sharpsburg sent us. Here we have Norwood View students having fun. I especially like the children reading in their pajamas. That's just darling. Also, the Norwood Montessori School had a holiday performance in the auditorium with lots and lots of parents in attendance. We also have Williams Avenue Elementary sharing their holiday fun. And also the middle school, because they still enjoy the holidays.
Oh, the high school did it too.
The high
My
school
kids
did
were
it
into
too,
every
if they
day.
did. And my last slide is holiday gifting. There's our SRO. Officer Town participated in Shop with a Cop. So happy holidays and Merry Christmas to everyone.
Oh,
Yes.
thought of another thing. The pep band is back.
Oh.
Yes,
And
playing
they're
at
playing
games.
They were at the
at-
basketball game.
Yes, at girls' games, and they will be at boys' games too. So I hope this Friday, because that is the first home boys' game. But I've seen them at two of the girls' games so far, and I am just so giddy about it. And the girls playing did say, like, I feel this. I feel more.
It makes a
I
difference.
can't think of the right word.
Yeah.
All that energy.
Ready to rumble.
Yeah.
But not like that. Ready to play really well. And they won both times.
There you go.
Well, thank you. That concludes my holiday report.
Thank you, Mrs. Ronan. All right, continuing on 9.03, this is our Oaks report, so I will turn it over to Ms. Ballard.
Thank you, Madam President. Got a long one. It's been a busy month for the Oaks. We got our standard updates on construction and typical policies and things like that, but we have a really cool program change coming for next year in our health tech field. The STNA program is now going to be the CNA Certified Nurses Aid program per new state mandates. Last year, we boasted a 90.6% passing rate for all of our STNAs, and over our 17-year history with the program, we have an 85.5% passing rate, where the state average is 10% lower than ours. We have new relationships beginning with Kroger, UC Health, Hometown Urgent Care, and several others. Last month, we got all of our approvals to begin a new LPN adult practical nursing program as well. And we already had over 50 adult ed students ready with our waiting list to join as soon as it's open. The new medical lab construction is underway and set to open when we go back on January 6th for our adult ed. On top of all of these achievements in health tech, we'll be hosting our next Health Professionals Career Fair in the spring. Last year, we had almost 30 companies and with representatives present to interview our high school and adult ed students. So I'm very excited to see how many more we get and how much more growth we get this year. As for the other half of the month, it's been very busy because we, as a group, went to the ACT Vision Conference, which is our annual tech conference, similar to OSBA, where everybody from across the country goes to a national conference all on career tech education. And we get to see some of the new toys and technologies and curriculums coming out in the new year. The Vision Conference this year had an emphasis on merging trusted and established soft skill techniques with new technologies to create functional bridges between our generations and the workforce. The goal of previous generations has been more towards loyalty to create that sense of personal value, promotion, and job security, whereas today's workforce is focused more on finding what they call their own personal mission, and they prefer to find things where they feel that their work is meaningful, and they prefer to have environments where they're connecting with a mentor. So any opportunities that we have in the high school level to create mentorship opportunities, even if it's between our high school students to our middle school students, has proven to see a larger impact on the success of our younger students as they go up in age. Soft skills was hands down voted the weakest area of all of our modern students. They are losing these skills, but they're hyper intelligent when it comes to accessing information and streamlining data. They will find the easiest way to do it, the most streamlined and efficient way to do it. However, they don't have the experience to know what other tools might be at their disposal. So it's really about giving them the soft skills to be able to communicate outside of their technology, and not forgetting they know more than us when it comes to those technologies, and that mentorship works both ways, and we can really bridge that gap for the employment world. We also learned a ton on resources for helping our homeless population. It's been a notable difference across the country, where we're getting students enrolled that really need help and support, and the tech community is starting to step up in new ways to help students who might be financially in need. And so the resources that they were giving us were really cool, and I know that Norwood has had its own population variances with transient population, And I brought back some information I'd love to share with you guys in the future. And that concludes my report.
I like that soft skill stuff.
It's been like the biggest note. Everybody's advancing with tech and they're great with the machining and everything that they're given physically. But when it comes time to go into those job placements and then the employers are basically coming back and saying, they've got this, they don't have the one-on-one.
Yeah.
They don't have the interaction skill.
We need to do a little more social skills.
Yep.
All right, thank you, Ms. Ballard. 9.04, this is Norwood Community Television, which is my report, but we do not have a report this month. So moving on to 9.05, this is our OSBA Legislative Liaison, and I will turn it back over to Ms. Ballard.
Thank you, Madam President. All right, it has been a busy lame duck, but I have the recent updates. The House passed Senate Bill 208. It was unanimously voted. It's awesome. It's voted 90 to 0. And this will require school districts to include exceptions for children of active duty military personnel in their open enrollment policies. So some districts already adopted that type of program, but this will mandate it across the state. And it allows students, whether or not they have open enrollment, to attend wherever is convenient for those working families in the military. So that's just been a really big thing. It is going to go back to the Senate for a concurrence vote, but it passed in the House, and we're just waiting on that to go through the Senate. It may have by now, but as of last week, that was where it stood. The Senate committee also held multiple sessions. Let me see, where, oh, hang on, I scrolled too far. A third hearing session on Senate Bill 295. This will require a performance index review, and it will do a bottom 5% of the performance index and bottom 10% of progressive measures for 3 consecutive years to decide how they implement alternatives to closure. So if a school is in need of that type of support from the state, it'll be over a 3-year course measure to assess how they can help implement alternatives to closing a district that might be in need. Let's see here. We also reviewed, when we were at OSBA, at ACTE, we were looking at nationwide impact on incoming potential. They were saying basically the only thing that we know for sure at the federal level is that we don't know anything at the federal level. We can't really predict what policies might be coming. So we were really going over the what ifs, and they were looking at potential appointments for different programs, especially for education. And they said that one of the priorities was looking at fair school funding at the federal level. And where did it go? Let me see. And repealing Perkins changes. So that's going to be a big one that's up for debate. It's not necessarily on the docket, but they're talking about repealing Perkins, which a lot of, especially tech schools, are very adamantly against.
What is the
repealing.
Perkins?
That's the funding, the Perkins funding that we get to help support students going into tech education.
tech.
And we also get it for certain programs as well. But it's potentially on the chopping block when they go through budget hearings. So it's in rumor that that is going to be one of the main talking points. And the other ones were just, again, all appointments and potential people that were being looked at for things at the federal level. And that's all I have for legislative at this time.
Thank you, Ms.
That
Ballard.
didn't sound like just all, that was a lot.
That's a lot. Well, there's more, but it didn't necessarily apply to education, so it's a lot.
All right, continuing on, 9.06, this is Avenues for Success, so I will turn it over to Mrs. Rarica.
Thank you, Madam President. Avenues for Success is rolling along, doing great. My kiddo's bringing home flower arrangements. I have one that's all pine and one that's all white carnations and looks snowy wonderland. So I'm pretty happy about it. Yay, avenues. That's all.
That's it? Okay. All right. Item 10 on the agenda, this is our future meeting notifications. So our future meetings, we have the Records Commission meeting. This is going to be at 5:30 on Tuesday, January 7th, which will be followed by the tax budget hearing, followed by the organizational meeting, followed by the committee meeting, and all of those will be on Tuesday, January the 7th. And then and those are at the board office over on Williams. And then our regular board meeting for January is scheduled Thursday, January 16th, here in the high school mini. Do I have a motion to approve these future meetings as listed?
All motion?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All right, so starting at 5:30 on January 7th. Mrs. Camp House?
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
Ms. Ballard? Yes. Mrs. Rarica?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mrs. Cole?
Yes. All right, item 11, we need to appoint our president pro tem, which will conduct the organizational meeting, which we just approved to take place on Tuesday, January the 7th. So at this time, I will open up the floor for nominations.
Madam President, I'd like to nominate Mrs. Debbie Cole as President Pro Tem.
I'll second.
Do we have any other nominations? Do we have any discussion?
We're just making you keep it.
Mrs. Camp House?
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
Ms. Ballard?
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mrs. Cole?
Yes. All right, item 12 on the agenda, this is our adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
All motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. The time is 6:46 and we are adjourned. Thank you.